I got to tell you a story, share
Okay.
a story with you. The other day, I was in my office going through, looking for a photograph that somebody had asked me for, an old picture. And I took out a file where I've got some old pictures, there's 200 or 300 of them in this file, and I'm thumbing through them. And after I've thumbed through a few of them, a picture, a photograph fell out on the floor. Just one. I didn't even bend over to pick it up or see what it was. I kept looking for what I was looking for. I never did find what I was looking for, and I went to put the file back in, and I saw that picture on the floor. And I bent over to pick the picture up, and I want you to see what the picture was, and I'm going to show it. We're going to show it close up on camera
Wow.
so the people can see it.
Wow.
That is a picture of me and Ray Price in our nudie suits in back the late 1960s, standing backstage at a show. And they wrote on the back, somebody wrote on the back, I believe this was taken in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, year unknown. But with him being in the fancy nudie suit and me glowing in the dark in mine there, it had to be the late 1960s.
And that had to be Ray Price that flipped that out of your file.
Thank you, Ray. I guarantee you, it was that kind of a moment. It really was, to know we were going to do this show and pay tribute to him. And I don't have many pictures of me and Ray, but I have wondered many, many times what my life would have been like if it hadn't have been for him. I was 19 years old, working as a disc jockey in a little town called Commerce, Georgia, and went up on the roof of the tallest building in town, which was 3 stories high, one night, and took my guitar. And before the night was over, I had written a song that would change my life. I think at the time it changed his somewhat. I never dreamed in my wildest imagination that Ray Price would ever record this song. I had met him one time, but only as a fan. I'll tell you who I met him with. Roger Miller and I were backstage at a show at the old Tower Theater in downtown Atlanta. And Ray Price walked by, and he was on the show, and he walked by with one of his fancy suits on, and Roger just sat there, and his eyes got big, and so did mine. Roger said, someday I'm going to own a suit like that. Someday I'm going to sing on a stage like this. And we were just the local kids with big dreams. And in less than 3 years, Roger was in his band singing tenor. It was a Cherokee Cowboy. And I had written a #1 song for Ray
Wow.
Price. So you talk about faith. I went to the Ray Price School of Guitar Playing, which means I don't play very well either. But I'm going to try. Janie, you just don't know the memories that this brings back. The greatest memory I think that I have of Ray was the night that he came to Commerce, Georgia, back around 2000, in the late 2000s. I had gone back there and begun doing a series of fundraising concerts. We named them the City Lights Festival. And I remember talking with you on the phone, and I remember talking with Ray, and I remember my strap coming undone. It's another reason I don't play guitar very much. And Ray came to Commerce, and I will never forget, there will be no way in my life I will ever forget him walking on that stage. He was less than a mile as the crow flies from where I had written the song all those years before, 40 years or so before. And he was on the stage doing his show, and the Twin Fiddles kicked off City Lights, and he turned to where I was standing on the side of the stage, and he said, "This is for you, Bill." And that meant a lot. It still means a lot, and I still wonder where my life would have been if Ray Price hadn't have recorded this song. Mm-hmm. City lights as far as I can see. The great wide way shines through the night for lonely guys like me. The cabarets and honky-tonks, their flashing signs invite a broken heart to to lose itself in the glow of city lights. Lights that say forget her name in a glass of sherry wine. Lights that offer other girls for empty hearts like mine. They paint a pretty picture of a world that's gay and bright, but it's just a mask for loneliness behind those city lights. Was dark and God made stars to brighten up the night. Did the God who put those stars above make those city lights? Did he make a place for men to cry when things don't turn out right? Are we just supposed to run and hide behind those city lights? Lights that say forget her love in a different atmosphere. Lights that lure are nothing but a masquerade for tears. They paint a pretty picture, but my arms can't hold them tight. And I just can't say I love you to the street of city lights. No, I just can't say I love you to the street of city lights.